Hello, my name is The Jordan. This is the start of a new generation of competitive Pokemon. Gen 9 Scarlet and Violet comes out in 2 days from when I'm recording this. I've been following the leaks and data mines avidly. We know mostly everything about the new mons, new abilities, new moves, etc. If you haven't, don't fret. This should be the first big deep dive into new Generation 9 mons. I mean, lots of YouTubers are making stuff about the new generation, but this is a deep dive into VGC Draft League, my favorite way to play competitive Pokemon, where imagination is so important and you'll never stop being surprised. I think it's the best way to play this game, and I think the generation is going to be bright for the scene. So I didn't expect to be so pleasantly surprised and optimistic about the new generation, but a lot of these mons are bringing wild new tools. A lot of them seem really cool. Some seemed a bit ridiculous, but I'm going to be diving into some of the mons that I think have not gotten a lot of hype, but really are going to make a huge impact, at the very least in Draft League, but maybe even on the ladder and in tournaments. So I started by looking at mons like the starters, like Quackable, and then I realized oh, this thing is going to be meta. It's ridiculous. If you haven't looked at its signature move and Moxie, look it up, but I want to go deeper. My channel has always been about assessing options and not being afraid to dive deep into things that people don't always consider. So we're going to start with medium hyped mons and then dive even deeper into mons I've seen virtually nothing about but are even more ridiculous. You ready? Let's do it. So Cetitan is more powerful than a lot of mons like it we've seen before. These are 3 usable abilities. Thick Fat makes it more tanky, Slush Rush makes it double speed in Hail, and Sheer Force makes it stronger. So compared to other Sheer Force mons like Nidoking, this mon is stronger. It has a higher attack stat, so it's going to be the strongest of that kind of mon that really likes to throw out big hits. Compared to other Slush Rush mons, they get double speed and Hail. This mon is faster, so it is able to reach new benchmarks. It's a lot of what held back Hail was the mons not being quite fast enough, even with Slush Rush. Also, a new Gen 9 mechanic change is going to have a big impact is Hail is now called Snow, and it now gives a 50% defense boost to ice types, which is huge, right? This mon goes from pretty bulky to very, very bulky in Hail, and so this is going to be the best new abuser of the new Snow mechanic. If you look at its move pool, it's good. It's not super deep. They knew they were giving a mon way bulkier and stronger than mons like it that came before, so they didn't give it too much coverage, but it's got enough to do whatever it wants here. Ground plus a couple of good ice stab moves. Water is a good mix-up coverage move, and then enough moves to fill out the Sheer Force boost. Only some moves qualify for that 30% offensive boost. So setup, we have one key move, Belly Drum. It might not be the main way you use it, but it can clear games if people are not expecting it. I can set up its own Snow. There's only one Snow user in the regional decks, which is going to be the basis of a lot of draft leagues I expect in the coming months. So Amnesia could help it out. So a couple of good moves, and I've got a couple of sets to kind of see how I think it'll come together. This information is not on Showdown yet, so I mocked up my own Showdown. This is a build of Cetitan. The Belly Drum set I don't think is going to be the main way, but it's just one turn, and you become incredibly powerful with Belly Drum. So you bring Redirection, you bring Fake Out, Ally Switch for if you want to, and this mon is going to rip holes through team. Ice and Ground is excellent coverage duo, and the terrestrialization mechanic, we'll dive into it more as we need to, but if this mon wants to become a ground type, that could really help it live one more hit, and that means one more dead mon on the other side. So this is the Sheer Force archetype. These are 2 moves that are boosted by Sheer Force, which means you can also run the Life Orb. They have a cool interaction where they compound upon each other, and then you don't take the Life Orb recoil. So Life Orb Sheer Force mons, they've never been better now. So this is this Icicle Crash boosted by both is so strong that a third of fully evolved mons just die, and anything weak to ice pretty much is just going to die. So this is very good, and this helps the Titan overcome overcome the abundant weaknesses of the ice type. Terastallization allows you to change your type one mana game of your choice, and you have to pre-select your Terra type. Obviously, there's lots of more information on other sources about terastallization. I'm going to assume you go look that up. But terastallization into a water type means that it's all of a sudden not sharing any of its weaknesses as before. It's a bulky water type, which is a very prized archetype of mons. A lot of good mons like Suicune. This mon's already as strong as Suicune after a Calm Mind boost. And if you were to say click Amnesia, then it's also bulkier than Suicune after a Calm Mind boost. This is going to be like an actual bulky water, an actual bulky attacker, and does not sacrifice on its power to do so. You can just run this thing without like any particular setup, like a Guzzlord. It just sits there and it's hard to take out, and it does reliable damage. Assault Vest, Thick Fat, gonna make it so it has fewer weaknesses. Even if you terastallize into Steel type, Thick Fat is still helping you out by making you not weak to fire. So this gives it a better Steel move. I don't love Heavy Slam. So now you have Ice, Ground, Steel. Very good coverage and a priority move if you need it. And then the final set is just go, right? Click the Ice move, get the additional terastallization boost by Terra Ice. Just click the Ice move, Choice Bandit, Slush Rush it. Everything will be mowed down by this. Now, Cetitan's not going to last forever, but if you keep it safe, then it should be able to pull more than its weight. I think this is going to be a very good mon, the best mon of the new generation, where Ice is going to be stronger than ever. On a 1 to 9 scale, I'm thinking this will be a 7. This is an early draft pick, not only because other people are going to be excited about this, because it's going to do a lot for you. Next, Grafaiai. Grafaiai is the weirdest new prankster. It has lots of moves that it can use with priority, and priority makes moves good. Even if it's like an move like Leer, if you're always going first, getting that defense drop down on them can make the difference between a 2-shot and a 1-shot. Compare this to other pranksters. Like, it's not Whimsicott, but this is a regional dex format. Whimsicott's not even in the game. Grimmsnarl is the best prankster now, and then there's Sableye, and then probably this guy is number 3. And it's not just a worse version of Grimmsnarl, it's got its own unique little tools here. Doodle is a signature move that swaps your ability and your partner's ability with whatever you choose. So you can turn off a bad ability of your partner, like Slaking becomes whatever you target rather than Truant. Other bad abilities can be negated with this, and then they made this guy fast even when it loses its prankster. If it clicks Doodle, it can still be kind of a fast support. I don't love its bulk. This thing is going to need a Focus Ash to live a lot of the time, especially on ladder against the strongest mons. But like this, you can just put 3 random prankster moves, and you try to cover different circumstances to fit the matchup. But knowing that this guy's niche is that some of his prankster moves don't come on other mons, but it also has like a pretty good attack stat. So a stab gunk shot is pretty good damage. That's as strong as anything Sableye can do. And actually Sableye lost Poltergeist this generation. So this is a stronger version of Sableye without quite as strong a prankster move pool. So Terra Dark, I think, is going to be important on pranksters, because when you are a dark type, you're immune to other prankster moves. So it allows you to win that prankster face-off? Yes. So Doodle, so with Focus Ash, you can invest in speed and you can actually still go first even if you've doodled away your prankster. It's got abundant tools on its prankster side to stop Trick Room, like Encore to reverse the Trick Room, Scary Face yourself once you're in Trick Room, or Scary Face the opponents to win fast mode wars. So speed control is definitely one of its strengths as a prankster. And so this set uses more of its attacking move pool better. It's got Foul Play, and it can become a dark type, which is already good for it. And so you can boost the dark type moves, Foul Play, Knockoff's pretty strong, also gets the dark boost and a decent attack stat. So this is a mon that both does a little bit of prankster stuff and does a little bit of damage. That's where I think this thing's niche is. I'm going to also say that Grafaiai is going to be up there. Maybe not. There's only like 10 pranksters in the format, in the regional dex format, and this is in there. This is in the conversation. You know, there's Murkrow, there's Klefki, but this guy's got its own stuff. I would take a look at Grafaiai and consider drafting it, and look at all the cool things that you can combo with its weird prankster stuff. Next, a weirder pick. Revavroom, I could not understand how to analyze this, and I think I came with a kind of off-the-wall conclusion. Or I guess a mixed conclusion about it, but it is very cool. So this is a mon that's strong, reasonably fast, and its moves make it so that it has some never-before-seen mix-up potential. So Spin Out is its signature move, a super strong 120 base power steel move, so very good. It cuts your speed in half, or it drops your speed 2 stages, so that's bad if you want to be a fast mode threat, but if you want to be a Trick Room threat, then it's good. It's not a problem at all. So sometimes you'll use a Spin Out, other times you'll use Iron Head. This thing has Shift Gear, a very rarely seen, very good setup move to boost speed and attack. And so that means it's a fast mode threat with Iron Head, getting those flinches, and it's a slow mode threat if you use the Spin Out. It's got good other stab moves, and then they knew that this thing was wacky, and they tried to contain it from being too strong by giving it not a lot of coverage. This is like very weak coverage. It has almost nothing to hit steel types itself. So you're gonna have to use this guy as kind of a specific nuke. It's got very strong steel and poison moves, and frankly, poison's a little bit redundant. You'll mostly just use the steel moves. So a lot of people's hesitation with using this mon is going to be, oh no, double ground weakness. And yeah, that's a concern. But don't let that fool you into thinking poison steel isn't a great type. This is 10 resistances and 2 weaknesses, and you can use Magnet Rise to float off the ground and become immune to ground moves. Boom, you have 1 weakness and what, 11 resistances or immunities? Magnet Rise is actually viable on this thing. It doesn't have the best bulk. I was hoping it would be a little bit better, but in a regional dex format, you don't have the very best steel types out there, no Kartana, no Metagross. This is in the conversation for one of the steel types that's definitely going to be drafted each season. So it's got some support moves. You'll kind of see how it comes together. I think this guy should be a steel type nuke that should abuse the steel type terrestrialization mechanic, because steel is by far its best move, the Spin Out. So you're mostly just going to click it, and you make the steel move so strong that even if you're against a Charizard, steel is going to be your best move. Make it strong. Filter helps it live those super effective hits. So Filter makes you only 50% weak to super effective hits rather than 100% weak. So Magnet Rise, your only weakness is fire. Fire resists berry. So Spin Out's going to make you slow. So if you can pair this guy in Trick Room, does some good stuff. But outside of Trick Room, it's always going last. So Assurance at least is a double power. So it can be kind of a good coverage move. You're just going to look at what resists steel and do I bother finding a move that's better against them. This is the more pure Steel Terra set. I think it's going to be very good, actually. Shift Gear makes it faster than the whole metagame, faster than a lot of mons with the Choice Scarf. Steel boosting item, Iron Heads. Even if you're in a bad situation, you're against mons that should beat you, 30% of the time they flinch. So with the attack boost from Shift Gear, with Terra Steel, with Metal Coat, Iron Head is going to take a lot of Okos. It's going to take a lot of Okos, and it's going to take mostly 2 shots on most of the metagame. So 30% of the time they flinch, and it's like you got a 1 shot anyway. Like, compare it to one of the mons that I'm sure is going to be hyped as one of the best mons. Dragapult, you outspeed it with Shift Gear. The Terra Steel Iron Head is an Oko, and this thing can't even kill you, so you can get that setup turn because it's got enough bulk. It's not great on the bulk, but the filter really helps it out, so it lives super effective moves, even Life Orb super effective moves some of the time, and then from there you are Iron Heading everything in your sight. Magnet Rise I think is so good that it's just a good option here. And then this is kind of the off-the-wall part. This thing, it's got such a good typing. Shouldn't it be able to win some endgames? It's got Iron Defense, right? If you're up against only physical attackers left, then, should wall things. It's got Toxic, which is now mostly the gift of just poison types in Gen 9. It's got Taunt, so you can stop other mons from scaling up to be able to beat you. Maybe you don't run the pure stall like I've laid out here. You run like 1 steel move and then you run some of this. But this should stall out a lot of stuff. And this is a purely defensive terrestrialization here. If you see it's 1v1, they've preserved their fire type to beat this guy, well, you just became Terra Water, and then you're going to win that endgame a lot of the time. So compare this guy to Toxapex. It's not as good, but it's a little bit of that great defensive typing Stallmon, while also has more offensive potential and a lot more chaos. Chaos is good for Draft League. You don't know whether this guy's going to be fast or slow or weird. And so I think this mon's going to be good. Maybe not great. I'm thinking like 5 or 6 out of 9, but like it's going to be one of the better steel types, and I think you want to consider it. Before I get into the last 2 mons I'm showcasing, which are the nuttiest, they have some game-breaking stuff that's going to put them in the top tier, I have a request for you, which is to like and comment on this video. If you even a yo on the comments would be helpful, and subscribe if you have not. New people are going to be joining this scene in Gen 9. Gen 8 was already the best VGC Draft League scene ever. It's going to be new levels in Gen 9, and I want them to have resources, these new players. I want them to see videos like this, in my opinion, that show you here's how to think about all of them tools. Here are all the things you can try. And so I think this will be a good resource for new people. This is the follow-up to a 10-episode Draftables series I did, which was late Gen 8, kind of more refined overall conclusions about what's good in this game. It didn't have Dynamax in mind, so it's like 85% still applicable to Gen 9 in my opinion. So check those out. They're some of the best videos I've ever made. But if you're coming back for Gen 9, get hyped. Please share this on Discord, on Reddit, anywhere. I want this to grow, and I want the scene to grow, and so I really appreciate your help. Let's keep going. Maushold. Have you heard about Maushold yet? Well, you're about to. This thing is Follow Me, which is 3 mons in the entire format right now. It has Friend Guard, which is an amazing ability, especially on a Follow Me mon. Remember Clefairy? Remember top tier Clefairy? If you played Draft League before, you know that the ability to redirect attacks and the ability to protect your allies just makes you incredibly valuable. There's a lot of setups involving redirection where you see a problem coming and there's nothing you can do to stop it. And so this is the new Clefairy Light, and it's got a lot of new stuff that Clefairy did not have. So it does not have quite the bulk that Clefairy have, but look at all these moves. Look at that speed stat. This is a fast support mon and a Follow Me Friend Guard supporter all in one. And so it can charm things. If you're charming things and you're friend guarding, then that's protecting your asset, your big killer, your glass cannon, your setup mon, your trick room setter, whatever. They're not gonna die if you can support them like this. Fake tears means, boom, you are going really powerful from turn 1. Just check out some of these other tools. And so you have that mix-up is, should I target this Maushold because it's just going to redirect? Do I need to fear this setup mon? Do I need to fear Maushold because it's got damage? It's got Technician and a new move that's going to be completely ridiculous. I'll get to that with the sample sets. So just think of this as like the easy set, the straightforward protect and follow me with Friend Guard. It fully invests in bulk so that it's a bulky supporter for its ally, and Super Fang means without any attack investment, it's doing half to everything, which is a good option. And then this is priority, so you don't need to invest in its speed. Priority attack drops are good. And then so terrestrialization, this is the kind of mon, a redirector, you're going to want to terrestrialize. You're going to want to Terra just to try to dodge certain attacks, like the close combat is coming straight into Maushold, now I'm immune to it. So changing up your type can be really good for keeping Maushold around one more turn and therefore getting one more free turn for your win condition. So this is the version of Maushold that goes, I'm either going to redirect or I'm going to do 12 other things. Speed control, damage boosting, damage dropping. This is another way to resist fighting moves and just make it better, right? If you become a fairy mon, then you're going to have lots of resists. So this is a mon using all status moves, so sometimes mental herb's going to be important so you don't get taunted. You definitely want to taunt this thing if you're trying to beat it. But it can be fast on its own, and it can be reasonably bulky. This is, by the way, we ran new numbers with Poppin. Thank you, Poppin. The new 400 mon regional format. I know how this compares to fully evolved Pokemon, the roughly 200 mons that are fully evolved. And it's a little bit less bulky than average, but you can fully invest in bulk because that's kind of all you're doing is trying to live hits and do status stuff. So it's pretty good. I'm not disappointed in its stats, and I think they're reasonable. They tried to contain this thing, but Population Bomb. People have data mined this, and this is where we're currently at. 20 base power, up to 10 hits. hits all of them, 200 base power. So it works like triple axle, we hear, as in each move has a 90% accuracy check. So as soon as you miss, it's over. But if you hit it, each 90% hit, you keep going. So wide lens becomes a great item because it goes from 90% accurate to 99% accurate. You're usually going to get all 10 200 base power stab moves. It's so strong that Maushold is incredibly strong. It doesn't even need the starting stat to be terribly good. Look at this. This is a 10-hit population bomb on Cetitan. The mon that I just said is this guy's so bulky, it just dies. It's not weak to it. It just dies anyway. Like obviously, Cetitan can have bulk, can have more bulk than this, but this is showing the majority of mons are just going to drop to this if they don't resist normal and you use the wide lens. There are also other items. We don't know how the loaded dice as a new item works, but it seems designed to help Maushold out, right? It increases the likelihood of more multi-hits, something like that. And then Silk Scarf, right? Right now, this is one of the bugs that they found out in the game, and the Pokemon Company is not always great about fixing its bugs. But right now, if you hit one population bomb hit, you hit all 10. They might fix this because it's definitely not intended. But if you know you're hitting all 10, then you just run the normal boosting item and make this thing even more ridiculous. Hold on. Did I even put Technician on this guy when I was running the simulation calc? Hold on, hold that phone. Okay, I did include the Technician boost, but that's part of what makes Population Bomb so strong, is that all of the 20 power hits become 30 with Technician. You can run Bullet Seed, but frankly, I think Population Bomb is gonna be all you need. I haven't even gotten to, like, all it needs is Protect, Population Bomb, and then Follow Me. In fact, like this, could just be Population Bomb without investment, without Technician. It could still be a good move. But it has another unique move, Tidy Up. Removes hazards, not super relevant, but it's a Dragon Dance. And it removes hazards in the occasional usage there. So you can just Dragon Dance Population Bomb. Everything dies. It's fast, it's incredibly strong, it has a great boosting move, and it's one of the best support mons in the format. It's a mouse. It's a family of mice, and it's so good, and it's game-breakingly good. Like, what if you Terra Normal, give it 50% boost? Everything dies to Population Bomb. So it's going to be all about keeping this thing alive. Maybe instead of some of the boosts, you don't need some of the boosts. You run like a Fighting Resist Berry. You run a defensive Terra. This mon's going to be very expressive. Use it however the hell you want, and it's going to be good. Well, usually use Population Bomb or Follow Me, but 8 out of 10, 8 out of 9, maybe 9 out of 9. No, I mean, it ultimately doesn't have good stats, but it's gonna be huge. The final, this guy, what the hell did they just do? They broke the game. Are they gonna have to fix this guy's moveset mid-generation? We'll get into two things that make this guy one of the best Pokemon I've ever seen. I guess we'll remove restricteds because we never use them in draft. This is ridiculous. Okay, so we'll start with stats. We'll start with good stuff before we get to broken stuff. All of his stats are good. This is a top mon. This is a new evolution to Primeape. They made sure to give this guy great stats, and it's got all good stats, which is good, right? Because you want to be balanced out. You want to be able to live hits. You want to be able to do damage. You want to be able to go first. And so, however you invest in this guy is however it's going to be suited. It's got strong stab moves, close combat. They removed Poltergeist from this game, and so it is Shadow Claw unless you use its new signature move, Rage Fist. We'll get to that. But we have a lot of coverage. You can hit anything you want super effective when you've got ice, rock, ground, and everything else. Really great coverage. You probably won't need it because close combat's so good and Rage Fist is so good, but every once in a while could be good. Stone Edge beats all the Charizards. So you have setup, right? This guy has the defenses to use Bulk Up, to use Sub, to use even Rest Talk maybe. It's got utility. This thing can just sit there and break screens, to do speed control, and then, taunt, why not? So some support moves, this is mostly an attacker, but just having that every once in a while I can really appreciate. So the first set, there are 2 game-breaking sets on this guy. Good abilities also, good typing, good stats. It's already a very high-tier mon, but they gave Final Gambit to a mon with 110 HP. So the Final Gambit is a rare move that you sacrifice yourself and you do damage equal to your health to anything you choose. And 110 is far and away the strongest Final Gambit we've ever seen. There are other new, stronger Final Gambits, but it was a Selgor at 80. There's one or two like in the 90, 95 area. 110, almost everything dies to this. Like, they've also been power creeping up the HP stats, but like 90% of mons die unless they have Focus Sash or Sturdy. Like, it's an auto nuke on anything you want. Now, it's a top tier. This is a top tier mon. You don't necessarily always want to be you're trading it 1 for 1, but having that flexibility. Basically anything I want, I can trade Annihilape for that mon is very, very good. If you're scarfing, you're going first, right? And so you're getting that Final Gambit. If you're Terra Dark, because typing doesn't matter with Final Gambit, then you're going to be immune to Prankster. And so like Prankster T-Wave or anything that might be meant to contain you, Prankster Charm, that can block that. And so if you don't necessarily want to trade, this guy is just a strong attacker, right? Close combat. Phantom Force, why not? Breaks protect. They won't even see it coming. And then like any coverage move can fit here, right? Ice if you need to beat a Salamence, etc. This is the other thing. Are they gonna fix this move? Like, what the hell did they just do? 50 base power every single time you get hit, plus 50 base power. This is what the data miners are saying. They're testing this. So you can beat up yourself, hit yourself 4 times. 250 base power move from turn 1. You can use the 5-hit multi-hit moves with a skill link mon. Take a little bit of damage, but you did 300 base power. It stacks. It keeps going across turns. Keep hitting yourself. Keep becoming stronger. It stacks even if you confusion self-damage hits. Even if you were to die and use the new signature move, the 2 mons get to revive one of your partner mons, which might be pretty nuts on its own. But this thing, it keeps stacking. It gets completely ridiculous to the point that you don't need any offensive investment because the move is so ridiculous. Like, turn 1, you can Oko one of the bulkiest Trick Room setters that have ever graced the earth, Dustclops, with absolute max defensive investment. Twice over from turn 1, and it only gets stronger. I'm gonna try to calm down a little bit here, but hit yourself, attack something, it dies. I mean, unless it's like a normal type, but you have close combat. So, like, the cool part about this is that it's both the strongest Final Gambit we've ever seen. It's both one of the strongest attacks we've ever seen, and it's a good mon, right? Here's how you set up the unstoppable ape wall. So you use substitute. We don't know if the hits will count sub, but I'm guessing they are based on everything else they checked. You bulk up to live hits more easily. You drain punch to keep getting health back and keep taking more hits. Every hit makes Rage Fist stronger. 1 hit, it's already a great move, 100 base power. So multiple hits, and it's just unbelievable. No offensive investment needed. Like, it's a great mon. Even if this was just Shadow Claw, this is a viable set because it's got all the stats you want, bulk and power and speed. So leftovers, sub, bulk up, drain punch, already good. Rage punch, fist, whatever, brings it over the top. You don't even need to Terra it. You could Terra it defensively, doesn't even matter. This is a ridiculous Pokemon. Are they gonna fix it? Right now, for the first draft leagues of Gen 9, I'm gonna guess we're either gonna ban it, or if you see it on your draft board, first pick this thing. That's my advice. So, we've made it. Let me know what you thought of this more freeform showcasing style. You know, it's not as refined, it's not as thematic as the old Draftable series, but we're at the start of this thing, and so I think this kind of really fits what I'm doing. I might get into the Paradox Mons. If y'all are into it, let me know, and I'll keep going with this stuff. So, thank you so much. Have a good day.